You're watching Straight Black Love Talk with your host, DC Radical One, the home of intelligent, mature relationship conversations.
Greetings, Black family, and welcome to SBL Talk. I am your host, DC Radical One, and I hope that one doing well on this Friday night. I don't know how many people will come through tonight. We shall see. SBL Talk was made to be interactive, but I don't know if it's the time or what it is, but people, I don't know. The views fluctuate. Peace to Brother Crow. See you in here. I'm getting things ready. Tonight's discussion, we talk about is there a conspiracy to destroy straight black love. Before the sister Simone, who has a new name. I don't know if she wants to be known by her African name or not. And I just went with the name that's on the screen. Tonight, man, we're gonna talk about. We know. I guess that's why I changed it in the presentation. Countering the conspiracy against straight black love. Let me just start off by saying this. While I try to figure out, goodness, I have a flaw. Oh man, my computer is not plugged up. So, lost my train of thought. No, quickly. Let me just say this. Oh, by the way, are my sound levels good? Is everything good? Y'all can hear me good and everything? If so, give me a 1 before I get started. Black people on planet Earth have to accept the reality that people want us exterminated. Like, I'm going to be completely honest. Any type of discussion you have about anything, anywhere, at any time on planet Earth that isn't within the context of that reality can only lead to confusion. Before day, brother, you got ripped off. Greetings to post-break 1062. And that's a reality I know is hard to accept, but all the evidence is before us. Like, seriously, how many times does Bill Gates have to come on a video or whatever talking about depopulation for us to get the hint? And he's not just talking about black people, but we know, since everybody hates black people, if there's going to be a race to remove people from the planet, we know we first on the menu. We just know that for a fact, right? And so, within that context, man, I just want to talk about straight black love in that context of being a revolutionary force, like Mama Baruti said. That I believe that's the last time I was on. In fact, I probably should load up that clip if I could find it, because it is falls within the theme of tonight's discussion. Last time I was on, not a lot of people came on. We got low views, but I've noticed more and more people watching it, so it's kind of picking up in the views. So I guess once people saw it, they agreed with the content. Like I said, I don't know if it's my infrequency of producing content, or I don't know if it's the algorithm, I don't know if I'm getting the YouTube shadow ban like I used to get the Instagram shadow ban, but the views have definitely gone down. I don't know if it's the days, because only reason I'm only coming on Fridays and Saturdays is because I'm taking a class with Brother G, and so 2 of my days are occupied. But I wanted to get some content in because someone paid for the StreamYard for this month, and I'm pretty sure that that's about to run out next week. I want to get as many live streams in as I can and interact with you all, get out as much information as I can to make it worth their while. Right. So let's get into tonight's topic, and hopefully we'll have some more people come through. Brother Pro, you say Nigeria. So not Nigeria, but Nigeria has banned all adult sites in their country. Okay, that's interesting. You know, I'm gonna be honest. I don't even think about that type of. Now I know it's there, but I don't think about that activity happening on the continent. Like, those two things don't ever cross in my mind that they would have to ban it, because I don't think about it happening there. But I know, because people have told me and shown me evidence, so I know it's there. Like, people who've gone to the continent, like, oh, yo, I didn't know this was happening. So I know it's there, but in my mind, I never connect those two things. So yeah, that's the bad news is somebody saw it was necessary. I mean, that it's necessary, which means it's already going on. The good news is people say, hey, let's stop this right here, right now. So yeah, salute to Nigeria. Tonight's discussion, like I said, countering the conspiracy against straight black love. We want to start off. Let me see. I think we're gonna start off right. I had to make sure I put it in here, because sometimes I'll be rushing. I have a basic template I use, but you know, mistakes can be made. So let's start off with our straight black pride pledge. Maybe people will come in after the pledge is said, because hey, maybe some people that don't agree with it. You never know, right? Let's take this banner down. All right, so let's begin. I pledge allegiance to my straight, black, and proud ancestors, and to the culture and traditions which they founded. I vow to practice those traditions of straight black love, family building, and nation building to the best of my ability, using all my life's energy, intelligence, and creativity. I also vow to do everything in my power to protect black men, black women, and especially black children from sexual abuse, homosexuality, exploitation, and miseducation, as long as I am mentally, physically, and spiritually able. Lastly, I vow to fight against any force, physical foe, ideology, or philosophy which threatens the straight, black, and proud culture, regardless of origin. This I pledge in the name of my African ancestors and the divine creator. Action. And we always start off like that, because basically a mission statement. And it sets the tone for the discussion. Now, y'all know I always read this, and it is the cultural importance of marriage. And tonight, I think I'm gonna have more. I don't have that many slides. I only got like 8, 9, something like that. But I do have like 4 or 5 videos. So basically, I plan to be out of here by 10, unless a lot of people come in and it's a rousing discussion. And we'll be out of here by then. So, of course, we read this every time because that's the goal. Let's just be honest. Marriage is the goal. Whether you're talking about this monogamous marriage, or even a polygamous marriage, the marriage is, the goal is marriage. And the goal is for that marriage to be healthy and to last the lifetime of the partners involved in it. Everything else, it just falling short, just plain and simple. It's not popular to say that anymore, right? That's a reality situation. So, in traditional African and traditional African American culture, marriage was an expected part of adulthood. In many African societies, you were not considered an adult if you were not married. The family was considered the foundational institution of the society. There was no debate about the equality of men and women, as each had their own jobs to do. I posted a video on Instagram that I saw where a young brother was discussing the whole 50-50 debate, and he was telling his father, and his father was telling his father's reaction. And the simplest way to just break that whole thing down is, if you're not putting 100% into a marriage, it's gonna fail. Both parties have to put 100% into the marriage. If it's one man and two women, all three parties gotta put 100%. You know what I'm saying? The fact everybody has to put 100% into it, or it is not going to work. And to be honest, even if everyone puts 100% into it, the society that we're in is still going to put maximum pressure to destroy whatever we're trying to build. That knowledge should motivate us to do our utmost to maintain those relationships. So, I think that knowledge is key, to be completely honest. Other people may disagree, but that's just how I see it. During enslavement, black men and black women often escape and try to find spouses and children who receive life and limb. Black people will buy their loved ones with money that they saved up from working overtime to get money to buy their spouses freedom. Beat me to me, Brother Safo. Brother Safo, you sent me your email address, right? Because I want to send you the, unless you have it already, I want to send you the Dr. Khaled lecture, the Hidden Enemies lecture. But let me know if I sent that to you already, and if not, I need to get that to you this weekend. Because I know you've been a member basically since the beginning. Now, the reason I put that up is just to remind us the things that we've gone through to maintain our families. From enslavement, and I'm just dealing with the Western system, not dealing with the Arab system. But from the coffer lines to the slave dungeons, to the slave ships, to the auction block, to the plantation, through enslavement, to having a modicum of freedom for about 12 years in the post-Civil War era, which was won because of our involvement, to Jim Crow, up into the modern day. We have survived these things because of our collective effort as Black men and Black women, even with the help of Black children, with Black families, and collections of families, to the point where up until 35 years ago, we thought of ourselves like people who weren't in Congress. we thought of ourselves as a nation within a nation. That was like standard language. Like people, no one thinks about this now, but this was standard discussion that Black people in America were a nation within a nation. Even Christians said it because they used the metaphor of the Hebrews in the Bible being a nation within a nation of, ancient Egypt. Of course, the sword I'm looking for. The irony is who in that situation. So what I wanted to do to start off, I had a clip from Dr. Amos Wilson where he speaks about the importance of marriage and to our culture and to our society. So I'm gonna start off with that clip, and then we'll continue the discussion. So y'all know how we do. Music gets paused and the clip gets loaded.
Marriage is an opportunity for self-growth. It's an opportunity for self-discovery, you see. Having children is also an opportunity for further maturing of your personality, for further personality development. Because of course, if you work honestly in your marriage, you work honestly in your love relationship, it helps you to see who and what you are. If you have a good, honest relationship with another person, that person serves as a mirror to help you see the real you. And in seeing the real you, you correct the flaws and you correct the weaknesses and you deal with the weaknesses and so forth. So if the other person is understanding and not condemning, if the other person is not over-idealizing you, needs to make you some great hero or some god or goddess, it then will give you a chance then to grow. If they accept you for who you are, with the idea, though, that acceptance means that you will continue to grow and develop, you see, then they are providing a real, natural, and healthy kind of love for you. Marriage and having children provides that kind of opportunity. If the people are not afraid, if they're not hiding things, if they're not filled with self-hatred and hostility, if they want to be honest with each other and open with each other, then they will grow in strength and power and love, and their families will grow beautifully and wonderfully. When you have children, often they make you reflect back upon your own childhood. Often we use our children to correct the things that happen to us as children. Some of us do it the wrong way, though. We're so determined that they're not going to have the kind of childhood we had as children. We end up spoiling them and creating problems for them. But if we look at them and watch them grow and watch our relationship with them, and we look at ourselves and see our own selves in terms of our relationship with our children, then we can grow and develop and be healthy for ourselves and for our children. But people who go into marriage out of fear and self-hatred and the kind of love I talked about earlier that makes them escape themselves are people whose marriages are going to be filled with conflict, unproductive conflict. Quickly, you have a lot of kind of loves that destroy marriages now. Let us say, often when you go into a marriage trying to defend yourself and defend your weaknesses and so forth instead of coping with them and solving them, what is your defense becomes an offense against the other person. You have the narcissist. You know, many of us, nobody loves us, mama don't love us, white folk don't love us. Because white folk don't love us, mama don't love herself, daddy don't love himself, he hates us. And now, if I'm going to get into love at all, I'm going to have to do what? Love myself for myself. But often you see that's not a healthy kind of love, it's a narcissistic kind of love. And many people move into that. This kind of love that many of our people have, by the way, because we've been made to feel inferior, and often the way we get over feeling inferior is by inflating who we are.
That was Baba Amos Wilson. And, you know, what he talked about, he goes on, he speaks a little long. It's actually at the end of a lecture, but he has one of those, and in closing moments, he talks about, like we see it, like especially in the social media age, this self-love thing that's really going on, especially amongst Black women, like this self-love thing that's leading to like a post-feminist narcissism that's taking place. But he also talked about it within the African Center community. Right now, this 35, 40 years ago, whatever, he was talking about how, you know, people take on these super impressive names and titles, and how they use these things sometimes to try to make the man may use it to like try to subjugate the woman, or the woman may use it to like to subjugate the man, like, you know, because I'm a goddess, you need to you know, in essence supplicate me and make sure that I have everything I need and this and that, or the man will be like, you have to listen to everything I say because I am the king, princess of Mundo, you know what I'm saying, whatever like that. And so he was speaking about that decades ago. So I didn't want to, because the clip was long. I would have to do a lot of chops to get all that in. Maybe on another episode I'll get the second half of that in. But I found that profound because, you know, as a psychologist, his insight into marriage and his insight into the mental processes that take place for us to go into it, and the proper perspectives that we need to have, I found those profound. So that's our Barbara, Dr. Amos Wilson, who Dr. John Henry Clark said, a mind like his comes around once in a generation. So, what do we got next? Okay. Yeah. The ancient attack on the Black family. And I thought I talked about something like this before, but I couldn't find the slide. So I just wanted to get into this because one thing I realized is we tend to think that everything that's going on now started now. You know what I'm saying? When we literally have been facing an onslaught for millennia, not centuries, but millennia. So let me get into the slide. In ancient African societies, right, and this information was given to us by, at least first time I heard it, and then I saw other sources, was Chancellor Williams' Destruction of Black Civilization. It says in ancient African societies, treaties of peace were often completed by intermarriage between nations. This allowed the two groups to become family. Unfortunately, when we did this with non-Africans, it led to invasion and the destruction of our nations. Now, here's what we have to understand, right? Our ancient forefathers understood a very basic concept. Marriage is not the union of individuals. Marriage is the union of family. Because the reality of the situation is, once you produce children, that child is going to be related to you and your spouse, right? And let's say you have multiple spouses, or you have multiple children by multiple people. All of these things are creating connections of different people interrelated to each other. So the way the way we're going now with people starting off with, you got one black baby mama, you got a Spanish baby mama, you got white baby mama, and all this stuff. You just creating all types of confusion for your children because they related to all these people that don't like them, don't like you. You know what I'm saying? Don't like anybody involved. And then people are leaving their children with their relatives and wondering why weird stuff is happening, or the children come back acting crazy, or an accident happens and somebody slips in the shower or drowns in a river and all types of other stuff, because we haven't learned from our ancient ancestors. They already tried this stuff, this integration stuff, thousands of years ago. It didn't work then. What makes us think it's going to work now? Right? Like, the history of ancient Kemet is basically can be broken down into the time period where we built it up, where we intermingled amongst ourselves, just different groups of black people, built bigger and bigger, quote unquote, tribes, form a nation, to form an empire that was all black, just different types of black people. And then there's the period where non-black people started to show up on the border and trade and intermingle, and next thing you know, you start dealing with intermarriage, and before you know it, you don't have a black society. And when you don't have a black society, you have the cultural impulses of a foreign group intermingling with your culture, altering your culture, right? Like, that's how it works. Now, they could, being completely honest, when the Greeks saw our culture and saw us with statues dedicated to black women and statues dedicated to motherhood, and saw us with, that we had black goddesses we worship, they were looking around like, man, what is up with these people? They on some weirdo stuff, right? Because of how they viewed their women. So they looked at us like we were on some weird stuff, because they have, if you look at their culture, Greek culture, and the statues and whatnot, it's literally a bunch of naked dudes. I don't even know what the museum was. I remember going to a museum in high school. I can't remember for whatever reason. I can't remember what museum it was. If I have to guess, it might have been the National Portrait Gallery, which I still haven't been in years. I can't think of what other museum it would be. But anyway, so they got, they have these different pictures. They got stuff from like the medieval period, and then they have these statues, and some of these statues are supposed to be ancient statues that they brought over from Greece or whatever. There's a bunch of naked dudes. And then eventually, as time period moved up, you had statues of half naked women, but their initial idea of beauty was naked men. That was their initial idea of beauty. But when you go to African society, the beauty was always men and women together, or a whole family, man, woman, and child, man, woman, and children. The base understanding of the culture could be seen in the art, right? Like, for those of you who are deep into Star Wars, you know that there's a Star Wars villain, Admiral Thrawn, who studies the art of his opponents to understand their thinking, and then he bases his strategies on that by studying their art, right? It's an interesting thing, because in reality, you can study the art of a people to understand their base thinking and their motivations, right? Now, during the Islamic slave system, the black woman was often priced, I don't know what I was trying to write there. The price was high. I don't know what I was trying to write. I just messed it up, whatever. For her grace and beauty, and she was used to breed more soldiers for Arab armies. These half Arab, half African offspring often identified as Arab and became vicious enemies of black people. Right? So literally, they used our women to breed more enemies, even though the people were related to us. This is an aspect of the Arab system that we don't talk about a lot. So when you hear people talking about these Moors and whatnot, many times you're really talking about hybrid, not fully Arab, not fully black. And unlike in Western society, in Islamic society, the child of that enslaved woman could grow up to become a ruler under the right circumstances, right? You can grow up to become a general, you can grow up to become part of the elite class or whatever. based upon who your father was and things like that. But the person psychologically identified as an Arab. They didn't identify as an African. So their, as we would think of it today, their accomplishments of becoming quote unquote successful was detrimental to Black people. Right? This was the case. It's why we should have saw the Obama thing coming. You know what I'm saying? What I'm talking about is something happened literally 1,000 years ago. But we don't talk about our history. We don't talk about our culture. So this is the case. So I got another clip. I told you I have a lot of videos tonight. I got a clip from Dr. Patricia Newton that I dug up, where she talks about how our intermingling changed our culture in ancient Kemet. So again, y'all know how we do. Press pause on the music and load up.
To be quite ironic that many of the experiences of African American children, male and female, have come from sexual predators who have resided within major institutions, the church, the school, and the family.
Yes, that's right.
Because the people who are abusers generally are known to children. It's only rarely that you get grabbed off the street and sodomized in some bathroom.
That's right.
That's very rare. The data supports, and I had the statistics, I'll get to them in a minute. The data supports that most people who have been sexually abused and molested are molested by neighbors, friends, relatives, or significant others in their lives. And you ask yourself, well, yeah, but this kind of thing's been going on since the beginning of time. Bullshit. Let me just be straight up. Bullshit.
That's right. That's right.
Because we got to talk about our history, because most of the people doing this talking don't even know their history.
That's right. That's right.
They don't have a clue about their history. In ancient Kemet, which I'm going on Thursday, and I wish some of you were going with me. Still time. There was an edict to keep the Greco-Roman people, the Ptolemies, out of the priesthood for over 400 years, because the ancient Egyptians, Kemites, not Arabs of today, did not understand some of the sexual practices that came from Europe. They did not understand them, and so until they could figure out where to place them, they decided to keep them out. Now, what am I saying? I'm saying that in terms of a historical reality, I don't care what you do as an adult, that's your right. But in terms of a historical reality, same-sex relationships and abuse of children were not part of the culture of antiquity prior to the second intermediary period of ancient Egypt. Now, what am I talking about? In dynasty, pre-dynastic periods, in dynasty 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, and 12, the age of the Great Pyramids, the age of the great building of the great Horomakit, a Sphinx, the age of the earliest writings of the book of Coming Forth by Day and by Night, which is a transitional book, or the Book of the Dead, incorrectly called, which later evolved into the Torah, into the Christian Bible, and then into the Quran. You did not hear in the mythology anything about abusing children, abusing women, or same-sex relationships. Now, here's the issue. The Egyptian culture or ancient Kemetic culture was a culture that wrote everything. So if the record were going to be there, it would be there because they wrote everything. And when we look at the stories of the fables and the myths, one of the things that we find is that there has been a change in the stories. There's a book called Sexual Practices of Ancient Egypt, written by a European woman. And in it she talks about bestiality or having sex with animals, and she talks about same sex as well as different sex relationships, etc., etc. Now let me go and be real clear for you. Whenever somebody else starts to tell you about your history, unfortunately, since you don't know enough about it and don't really want to know, you need to ask them, could you please tell me what period of time in Egypt you're talking about? That's the basic question. Because if they tell you anything starting with the 17th, 18th, 19th dynasty and on, you are not talking about a pure African culture anymore. You're talking about a mixed culture. A culture that has infusions of Mesopotamians and Europeans and Asiatics. It is not pure black.
That was our mama, Dr. Patricia Newton, who has since that clip, to show that clip, greetings to Brother Jimmy. I wanted to show that clip so that we can have a clear understanding that we can do historical analysis to understand what is and what is not African sexual practices, right? And to show that also to counter the idea that everyone was gay at one time. That's false. That's a lie. That everyone was a pedophile, or everyone was whatever else, right? No, there are cultural differences, just like there's cultural differences in the food that you eat, there's cultural differences in the clothes that you wear, there's cultural differences in what you do in the bedroom. It's just a reality of the situation. Greetings to Black Renaissance. And so we have to remember this when we look at the modern world and can't get confused about what is part of our cultural practice and what is part of the cultural practice of our enemies. Because different people came about in different climates and used different mating practices and family building practices. And because we have been forced to interact with these people and live amongst them, we get confused. And so I thank Dr. Patricia Newton for talking about that. And secondly, what she brought up firstly was the aspect of gender confusion caused by abuse of children. I just saw today, somebody just sent it to me. A sister just sent it to me. I don't know, I guess a few hours ago now, that the brother Jonathan Majors, the actor, said he had been seeking therapy because he had been victimized as a child by both men and women. And so when I saw that, I was like, that explains a lot. He has a way of carrying himself in public where he looks very uncomfortable with himself, right? And it's something I noticed, and I wasn't sure the root of it, because at first my first thought was, well, maybe you grew up around Europeans. And then, some of the things he said, and the fact that he chose that woman, which was kind of like a low self-esteem move. Like, we don't talk about, right, men's mate selection based upon their self-esteem. We don't talk about that much. We don't talk about a brother who may be doing well for himself, be in shape, women find attractive, and yet they choose a woman. You're like, what are you doing here? We never look at it as, oh, he got low self-esteem. That's what he's doing. You say that's what made him do this photo shoot. Brother, at this point, everything in the entertainment industry is gay. So they probably don't even see it, because what isn't LGBT, whatever, rainbow friendly in the entertainment industry? Like, you have to be completely against it in that industry to not fall into that stuff. I forgot who I was looking at. They was talking about it was a rapper. He was saying they send the stylist in there to you. They send the rainbow stylist, a man, they, put on or pick out clothes for you, do your hair, and they all up on you. Right? And depending on how you react, that depends on how they move forward. So the whole industry is set up for that. You have to be completely on your square and in your manhood, and not fall for any of that stuff. The cats don't even be. I bet you they don't even be thinking about it unless somebody say something to them, like, "Yo, man, you look real swiggity in that photo shoot." You be like, "What?" Like, "Yeah, man, you ain't looked at it." And then you look at it, you like, "Oh my god, it's too late now." The whole world has seen it. So, yeah, I just got that information. So, I hope that brother, finds healing, man. And I'll be honest. Of course, I got problems with him. He laid up with you, but I salute him for stating that publicly, because it takes some courage to put that on the table. It's plain and simple, right? That I'm just happy that's not a burden I had to bear. So I don't wish that on nobody. But I wish it on any. I don't even wish that on any. I don't wish that on nobody. Not as a child, anyway. Anyway, Portuguese Jews invaded Cape Verde and set up a post for slaves. They bred with the women on the island and taught their African sons to be slave catchers and slave traders. We just like to avoid this discussion. I knew a sister from Cape Verde. She had freckles and red hair. I didn't know what Cape Verde was when I met her. Right? Nice looking sister. It was striking because she had freckles and red hair, And she was talking, and she was like, "Yeah, I asked my father, what are we?" And he was like, "No, we Africans. Cape Verde is a part of Africa." And so she gave me the history and everything. And then I had got a copy of A Secret Relationship Between Blacks and Jews, Part 2. And this information about the Lancanos and the Moranos was in it. And I was telling a sister today, we don't think about this. Those groups that were part of that, or that were created from that relationship, if you will, between Portuguese Jewish males and black women, and those children, those offspring that were produced, those people still in Africa. They interbred with other groups. They're still hiding in Africa. So when you see these people on the west coast of Africa and they're saying, we're real Jews and this and this and that, you got to be careful, because you're talking about two different groups of people. You're talking about the ones descended from the Portuguese Jews, the Sephardic Jews, and then you got the ones who came across East Africa into West Africa. Those are two different groups of people, right? And one of them are greatly responsible for our destruction. But again, we don't like to talk about that history, right? We just have people tell us, "Oh, Africans sold all that." We're like, nah. We had some mulattoes that kicked that thing off. See, because once we talk about that, then you keep getting examples that this intermixing has not been beneficial. In fact, has been very detrimental, right? Now, let me see. Next slide. So, those were the ancient attacks. Here are the modern attacks. And we all familiar with all this stuff. CIA funded crack epidemic. CIA funded rise of feminism. Small hat engineered alteration of hip hop to gangster rap, trap music, drill rap, mumble rap, etc. Push of homophilia in movies, TV, and music. The push of interracial relationships in media. The push of adult entertainment to the homes of families, and the rise of abuse in the Black community. Obviously, Dr. Patricia talked about the abuse angle. I just want to go through these relatively quickly. I could not find the clip about the CIA funding the crack epidemic. Brother, you got ripped off. Did you get a chance to download the Africa versus Everybody? Because traditionally, but I didn't. The one I sent to you, I didn't do a full edit on it. Traditionally, when I do that, I have the video of a former, and I may have played it on a different show, a former police officer stating that the CIA came to him to help him protect a drug operation in Southern California. So that's just a fact. I don't have the clip here, but I'm telling you that that's a fact. I'm not making it up. I also have a video of the CIA director Deutsch meeting with the people of South Central Los Angeles, where that gentleman speaks on that. So it's two different clips that I have. So as for CIA funding the rise of feminism, again, and that's what I forgot to load up. I forgot to make a slide for Gloria Steinem. We have Gloria Steinem on video saying that. That's part of my Godless Black Woman lecture. That's where that is. So that's why the people who are members, that's why I send those lectures out to you all, so you can get all that information on that subject matter in one place at one time, right? This is just historically documented evidence that we know about, but we don't talk about. And because we don't talk about it, and we try to talk about our current problems in a non-historical manner, every so-called all analysis, all solutions, all of it is completely incorrect because it doesn't have the proper foundation. Now, as far as the alteration of hip hop, we talked about that ad nauseum, NWA, Luther Campbell, so forth and so on. I don't even think it just, if you don't know that by now, I guess you're just not old enough. You're too young. You know what I'm saying? What hip hop started as party music, and what it became, and when for the Grandmaster Flash and the Furious Five, when they made the Message, they changed the entire tone and showed that hip hop could be something serious and you could do social commentary. That basically paved the way for people like Public Enemy and all the other people, X-Clan and all the other groups that they opened up the door for. And that door was shut in the early 90s, right? Which allowed the rise of Rockefeller, Bad Boy, Death Row, all of these musical imprints that pushed that basically death and destruction, right? Let's see. And somebody says, looking at most Disney animations and media featuring a black woman, the acolyte like the strange world come to mind. Okay. Oh, you talking about just, well, here's the thing, because you mentioned the acolyte. That's that girl, she's not black. She's half Jewish and half black. So that's something we also gotta be careful of, but we see it a lot, especially Hollywood now. They take a lot of people, basically almost anybody that they put before us, especially for the women, they're either lesbian or mulatto. Like the woman that was in Wicked, her girlfriend is Lena Waithe, the director, the one that did the I think it was a Showtime show. What, brother, you got remember what's the show in Chicago that they filmed in Chicago? Because I know that's where Lena Waithe's from, but whatever that show is, I can't think of the name of it now. The Chi, yeah, The Chi. The director of The Chi is in a relationship with the chick from Wicked. So, you know what I'm saying? And Wicked is basically the biggest Disney movie in what the last, that's not Marvel related, in the last few years, right? So millions of our women went to see that movie and all caught up in it and talking about how great it is to see this black woman painted green, that's a rampant lesbian. Then of course there was this big controversy with, I don't know who this chick is, Dolce or something. She's talking about straight men are her red flag. Well, if you're a lesbian, of course men are your red flag. What are we talking about? Right? I had never heard of it. All of a sudden, all this hullabaloo on the internet, and she said this and this and that. I'm like, how is this person relevant enough for us to be mad about what she says? I've never heard of this person. No, I'm not gonna lie. I'm not plugged into everything that's going on in the media world or the entertainment world, but I pretty much know the industry plant when I see it, which is most of the people. Like, these people were not. Man, I mean, let's be honest. The people that are really talented don't sell as many records as the people that ain't in today's time. It is what it is, right? A big thing that we don't really talk about, and the generation I grew up in, the not just cable TV, but the VCR, DVD players. When that stuff, when you could bring media or have it beamed into your home and have a quote unquote adult themes and stuff like that in your house around your children, I'm just be completely honest. Your children are going to find that stuff. Okay? Your children are going to find that stuff. And it's going to affect their minds. This is just a reality of the situation. Now, they don't have to find it because it's on their phone. I remember Brother Jenny was telling me that young people were telling him that they sitting up in school looking at adult websites or whatever in the school. Like, I couldn't even grasp that concept, because I'm like, I don't even know how. I can't even understand. I can't even express how detrimental that is for a young person's mind as they develop it, be they male or female. And I'm sure whatever's going on now, whatever's being shown or whatever the trend is or whatever, is way worse than anything that I saw coming up, which is crazy because when I think about it, like, yeah, all of that was inappropriate. right? Like there were records we listened to that were inappropriate. I remember one time a few years ago, Eazy-E came on Spotify or something, and I let the song play, and as the song was playing, I was like, I was listening to this as a teenager. I was like, oh my God, I went to listen to this now. And again, that we talk about something 30 years ago. And of course, we always see the pushing interracial relationships in the media. You know, you see these commercials now. One thing they do, I'm gonna tell you, the commercial, if you watch like regular TV, the commercial that has the most detrimental stuff are pharmaceutical commercials. If they trying to sell you some type of medicine, you're gonna see some type of madness. That's all I can describe it. You're gonna see some type of madness. Like I don't even know what some of this stuff is, but you know, I was trying to watch a basketball game or something, which I don't even really watch that. And I look up, next thing I know, two dudes is hugged up, and I'm just like, yo, what this got to do with basketball? You know what I'm saying? Like at one time, advertisements were set for the audience that they thought that you was gonna watch, and I'm just like, you don't even want to watch the whole. Hey, greetings, brother. I thought you came in. I saw you earlier. You must have stepped out. Oh, greetings, brother Ken. Yeah, Sky Rizzy, man, all that stuff. I ain't gonna lie, man. That stuff didn't make me turn off the TV. I'm like, I gotta sit through this to watch this basketball game. Basketball, NBA is not really not interesting enough for that. I'm sorry, it just ain't. You know what I'm saying? It's like it's not compelling enough. Yeah, I just don't have the love for it that I used to. Maybe it's just me. I don't know. But yeah, I'm not Sky Rizzy and whatever. Oh, what is it? Oh, whatever. Ozempic or whatever. I don't even know why I'm saying the names of this stuff, because now that's gonna be when y'all the people who come in later and watch the replay. We already know what's gonna get advertised now. So, anyway, and yeah, the rise of abuse in the community. It's just, we never talk about how destructive this stuff is, but every time I think about it, it just, because I have friends and relatives that are teachers. They deal with young people, like really young people, elementary school. And the stories they tell me, man, it's just it's heartbreaking stuff. It gets hard to process. I don't know how they deal with it, because it's hard for me to hear it, from them. Real quick, because we're at the 9 o'clock hour. It's SBL Talk. I'm your host, DC Radical One. You can follow me on social media, Instagram at DC.Radical1, on Twitter at DC_Radical_OND, OTW2 at DC Radical One. And if you'd like to donate via the Cashapp, you can donate $ DC Radical One, and you can email me at DC.Radical_1 at protonmail.com. Social media engineering. In the age of social media, algorithms are designed to constantly feed the same information in different forms to the consumer. If, for example, you watch a video that speaks negatively about Black women, another video with a similar theme is queued up and ready after the first video ends. This creates a loop of negative reinforcement. Let me ask you a question, because I don't know, and I'm asking y'all. When I do these SBMs with the ancestors, like different clips from the ancestors, do y'all get video recommendations with the ancestors like Amos Wilson, John Henry Clark, the Barudis or whatever. Do y'all get those after you watch it, or do y'all get something else? I'm just curious. Y'all let me know in the chat. Social media trends tend to downplay the importance of marriage while making being single look fun and exciting. All right. And I wasn't going to talk about this, but here we go. How can I say this? A lot of those sisters that y'all see that's in Dubai and traveling around the world, and you can't figure out how she does that, how she makes that type of money, braiding hair or being a waitress or whatever. She's an adult entertainer. At worst, if not a full-time sex worker. That's what's going on. Okay? That's what's going on. So you got a lot of sisters out here that's looking at a lot of, especially young women. They're looking at people and their lifestyle, and their lifestyle looks exciting and this and that, and yeah, they not celibate, they selling it, right? That is just a reality situation. So brothers, you look at a woman and she look good and this and that, like, oh man, body, this and that. No, yeah, she is. And there's some dude that's an NBA player, and that's if you lucky, an NFL player, or if she go to Dubai, you don't want to. But what they do to them there is unspeakable. It's what they were doing during enslavement. It's just it's enslavement when you get paid. So if you see a woman taking trips back and forth to Dubai, whatever. I got a clip about that. I know I showed it in my 2020 Dr. Chancellor Williams lecture, but that got deleted by the people that I used to stream it. So whatever. But I got it. I can always reload it, put it in another lecture. But there's that social media is an illusion. Yeah. Getting as what's the girl from, what's her name, Young Miami, as she said, getting flued out. If a woman is getting flown out, she ain't getting flown out to be a tourist. Okay, spending $300 on an airplane ticket, and I don't even know how much they are now. They might be buying it now. I don't know. Why spending $400-500 or whatever to fly a woman out, pick her up from the airport, or pay for her Uber and have her come and spend the weekend with you, and you think it's not no gymnastics, bedroom gymnastics taking place. Yeah, that's woman. You gotta keep it 100 out here. Also, social media gives the illusion that there are endless amounts of beautiful, wonderful potential mates in the world. This causes people to not take relationships seriously because there's always another person available, allegedly. This is how you get sisters with like 3 engagements and 0 marriages. This is how you get brothers thinking that they can get that Instagram model, and maybe you can, but she's not away. So even if you get her, what you gonna do with her when you get her? Right? So that this perpetuates this perpetual singlehood that a lot of people are going through. And this is the thing. The things I'm talking about now don't just affect Black people. It's affecting the American society as a whole, and other societies, not even Western societies. Like, it's affecting China and Japan. We talk about that. You got very mediocre Chinese women asking for dudes that don't even really, the type of dudes that their country doesn't even really produce. Other than Yao Ming, how many 6-foot Chinese dudes is there? You know what I'm saying? You talk about a country with billions of people. You want a dude that's over 6 feet. You're 4'11". What are we talking about? In a country where most of the people look the same, and you think you stand out because you what? You know what I'm saying? Yeah, brother KW Don. Yeah, we talked about that earlier. So I mean, so it's not just American women. You know what I'm saying? Women in South Korea, they the ones that invented the whole we're not gonna be without men, because actually I don't actually know why they don't want to be with them. But I'm gonna be honest with you. I'm gonna be honest with all the Asian ladies, China, Japan, South Korea. If it's not a European male coming over there to holler at you, y'all sure, because ain't nobody checking for y'all like that. Y'all not. Man, let me, you know what? Never mind. Hold on. I got let me calm down. I'm just being honest. They are not the most beautiful women. Alright? Let me put it that way. Here's the reality situation. And I had a clip from Dr. Ben. I load it up. The reality of the situation is the template for beauty around the world has been and always will be black women. Point blank, period, end of discussion. Any woman that you see who's truly beautiful, if they're a non-black woman, it's only in approximation to being black. If that wasn't the case, white women wouldn't have lip plumpers, Brazilian butt jobs, implants. I'm trying to think, of course, tanning. There are various periods in society where they do stuff with their hair to make it curlier and give it more life and whatnot. And there's them imitating black women. And black women trying to imitate them. Don't nobody want to be themselves. I saw about it before. I saw some European females like black women want to look. What she said something to the effect that black women want to look white and white women want to look like mulattoes. Brother, you got ripped off. Said from my brief stint in Korea, I learned they're huge on colorism. If you're on TV, that you have to be wearing powder to lighten your skin. Crazy how they use powder, and African people use bleach. Yeah, like see, one thing we forget about the colonialism and how it affects people there. Depending on what part of Asia, like southern China or Philippines or South Korea, like those people get enough sun and there's enough residual melanin that they can tan. We forget that. But the ones they show on TV be looking super white. But they can tan. You be looking at them like, that's different. You know what I'm saying? We don't think about how other societies have been affected psychologically by the European during colonization, because I mean, we so messed up psychologically. We ain't got time to really analyze somebody else. But if we just being honest, Asian women love European men, but they're curious now about black men. But the whole issue is, as men, here's something we gotta deal with. I'm bringing the mic closer so I can be clear. We have to stop accepting being fetishized as a replacement for the love we don't think we can get from our women. gonna say it again. We have to stop accepting being fetishized as a replacement for the love that we think we can't get from our women. Because that's what's taking place. They're dealing with lust and curiosity, right? Like, Asian women are real. I ain't mean to go on a tirade about Asian women, but Asian women are real weird because they'll conform themselves to the culture of the man that they're interested in. So they'll start like trying to act like what they think your woman acts when they interact with you. It's a weird thing. Now, y'all like, DC, how you know? And I told y'all the places I've worked. I've worked around a lot of different people. I've interacted with different females. Being completely honest, I've had as many. Well, nah, that's not true. I feel like this. I've had more than one non-black woman openly express their interest in me. And they do that because they know they're competing with black women, so they're just more straightforward. Sister be around you all day laughing, kikiing, you know what I'm saying? Having fun with you, looking you up and down. And if you don't read body language, you don't read context clues, you'll miss it. Non-black women, they ain't got time for that. they pretty much a couple of conversations, they like, hey, he ain't getting a point. Let me just tell it to him straight. Then you just be like, oh yeah, nah, I'm good, shorty. Nah, you can't rock like that. No. No, most of the time I tell, oh nah, I got a long time girlfriend. Even if I don't, I tell them that. Because unfortunately, in the workplace, especially rejecting a white woman in the workplace, oh man, you might as well get your resume together. Just being completely honest. I learned that one the hard way. I wasn't, that was a lesson I learned the hard way. Stuff started happening. And I was like, what in the world is going on? Go from like the favorite employee to we got to find a way to get him out of here. And you haven't done nothing. Your behavior hasn't changed at all. And then you think about who you told, nah, I'm good too. And you're like, oh, look at this. Anyway, let's see, bro. You got ripped off, sis. You telling somebody's life story. I ain't even gonna put that up there, bro. I ain't even gonna put that one up there. Oh man, that wasn't supposed to be part of the discussion. What's the next slide? I don't forget it, but I even got the slides. All right, here we go. Social media challenge or psychological warfare. Over the last few years, there's been a constant stream of social media challenges that push degeneracy or gender confusion. We've seen gender swap challenges, various challenges involving raunchy behavior by women, and other counterproductive games. When it seems like a lot of this stuff originates on TikTok, which the states here that's popular with the young people. What was that? 2 weeks ago or something? You have I saw Simone Biles and her boyfriend. He wearing women's clothes and she wearing men's clothes. I thought how many times we gonna do that challenge? I was so disappointed in him. I was disappointed in him more than her. Because women fall for that stuff, but as a man, sometimes you just gotta say no. And let her be mad and she get over it. Or not. If she don't get over it, you got the wrong woman. But I ain't putting on no women's clothes. I don't care what you talking about. Both of y'all got money, so what's you know what I'm saying? You don't have to do it for money. You're a professional athlete, she's a professional athlete. You say We said, brother, the new challenge is that he can get it or entice a random man. Okay, I don't even know nothing about that. Anybody else seen this? Anybody else seen this? Anybody else familiar with this? Cause I don't know. I don't, brother. I ain't even gonna lie. That's new to me. I don't know what's going on. So, oh yeah, I believe these challenges are social experiments to see just how far people will go to be socially accepted in the digital space. Like people doing stuff to be accepted by people who they might not even live in the same country, people you will never meet. It's silly when you think about it, but it's dangerous when you look at it. You know. All right, so we almost there again. Changing the culture. One of the things we must do is that people change the way that we address each other. As long as we're calling ourselves by a racial slur, the N-word, nothing positive can be accomplished. Right? Zero. Nada. Goosey. Oh, wait, hold up, bro. You should have put that in here before. Wait, what? Let me go back. This is crazy. You should have sent me the video of this. Whatever the challenge is called, it entails a woman twerking on a random man that they find. Man, come on. We ain't got time to play these type of games. We see the way that women are acting now towards each other. And you just gonna come up to some random man, you don't know if he got a woman. And again, this proves my point. This stuff causes nothing but confusion, and most of the time it's centered around some form of degeneracy. And I hate to say it, but for the most part, our women just run headfirst into it. Like there's nothing positive that can occur from a woman running up to some random man and twerking on him. Hey, I mean, y'all, am I wrong? You know what I'm saying? Like that, to me, that's great. One thing I think we need young, talented musical artists to produce organic and healthy music for our children to grow up listening to. I thought about this on a road trip a long time ago. I swear I wish I had recorded myself as I was, like, this was like coming through me. Organic, no, what's the word I'm looking for? Or I'll use organic. Organic instrumentation. Actual playing an instrument by human hands has a different effect psychologically and spiritually on people than digitized music does. It comes through on a different frequency, and it affects us differently. Even when things were put on record and the carbon on a record had a different effect than the CD and streaming. And you can, and only if you got a record player or whatever, you can feel it. Like I was listening to, and it's funny. Man, I was listening to something old. I can't remember what it was. And I was thinking, this, for some reason it sounds different. Then I realized it's the medium of how I was listening to it that made it sound different. It wasn't as warm as it was when I listened to it growing up. Now, could that just be nostalgia on my part? Possibly. But I think that I want to something. Like, just as a once aspiring musician, writing music and playing a piano or a guitar is different from queuing up a song, putting it into a sampler, and then changing it based upon the sampler and chopping it up maybe trying to layer the sample and all that, which is, again, it is a skill and it can be complex, right? So I'm not saying it doesn't take talent to do that, but I'm saying the further we get from the organic music, the more the music affects us, right? I stand by that. I'm down that hill. You know what I'm saying? So if a professional musician wants to come in here and tell me I don't know what I'm talking about and I'm making up stuff, fine. I said what I said. It's a difference. It's a difference. Like, you listen to roots reggae and you listen to what came after that, dancehall. It's a different vibe, right? Not only is the subject matter different, which it was greatly different, but it's just a different vibe. Right, bro. Yeah. I mean, to your point about the 808, yeah, we grew up on the 808, but how many times did Greetings to Sister Fortune? Better late than never. How many times was James Brown Funky Drummer sampled to let us know the beauty of live instrumentation? And of course, that is unique because he had two drummers playing on that. That's why the sound's so unique. That's why it attracted so many people. But the organic music has a different effect. If you ever gone to a show and they do live instrumentation, it's like, that's why I ain't gonna lie. It's certain artists, even though it's certain stuff they do and stuff I don't agree with. Certain artists I miss because their live presentation, their live performances are unparalleled. I'm gonna tell you what's interesting, because they are the ultimate mix of the two genres. A live root show is worth your money, straight up. Or at least it was. I don't know what they're doing now, other than Jimmy Fallon. But a live root show back in the day, when I think the white dude Scott Storch was still in there, and Dice Raw and all them, man, please. To me, that was the ultimate. That was the ultimate fusion of jazz and hip hop in that, that early era. And they had some, I ain't gonna lie, they had some. I've seen them a couple of times, maybe 3 times. Them dudes are tremendous live. Black Thought is a tremendous MC. And that band was tight. The brother that passed away that played the bass was nasty. We need more of that, but we need it centered away from the degeneracy and more towards something more wholesome, for lack of a better word. I mean, things can be wholesome and funky. I think we kind of forget that. Like, so many things that we think of as funky or appealing is rooted in degeneracy. Now, one of my favorite artists kind of blamed for that. You know what I'm saying? Because I don't think nobody made as many funky degenerate songs as Prince. It ain't even a second place. You know what I'm saying? The number of funky degenerate songs that he has, the list is longer than my arm. Also, I think we need more Black love events and forums where healing can be discussed in person. Like some discussions just need to be in person. Because sometimes you need to be made to stand on the BS that you're talking about while other people are there. Because sometimes we need people to look at us like, yo, what you talking about right now is ridiculous. So we can, you know what I'm saying? So we can, you know, check yourself before you wreck yourself. Real quick, I just want to play this clip from Barbara Cambone. I meant to play it earlier, but I was talking about, you know, the fact that we had to deal with the reality that he would want to destroy us. And so Barbara Cambone, you know, I'm gonna let him reiterate it so we don't get confused.
I want to say a couple of things, and I really don't want you all to miss me before we get ready to go. My wife was here, and she was the president of the Association of Black Psychologists a couple of years ago, and she was responsible for taking about 500 people, including about 300 black psychologists, to Ghana, West Africa, for their national conference. The reason I point that out is because I want to say a couple of things, and I'm going to go out of bounds with what I have to say relative to what we've been talking about. First of all, I grew up in Brooklyn, and I saw, looking back on my life, I saw about 30 of my friends die, you know, getting shot, overdosing on drugs, any number of things that took them off the planet, you know, beautiful brothers. So as I started to become more conscious, I looked around, I started asking this very important question. I think the most important question that I ask myself and that you can ask yourself is why? And I wanted to find out what was going on. So I began to change. I began to examine everything. I don't like to use the word critically, but I started to really check things out. So I went through a very, very serious change. I mean, serious change. And what my wife and I did, we decided that we were going to drop out from the system. We delivered two of our 3 children at home using midwives. She didn't take any medication. We didn't go to a doctor. She talked me into doing that, but it was a beautiful experience for me to be there to help deliver our children. They were born, by the way, 2 years apart on the same day, and our oldest daughter helped us deliver our children. We also changed our diets. We saw the hospital system was killing our people, so we changed our diets. We have been vegan for about 30 years. That means no meat at all in any form, no dairy products, no sugar, no white flour, the same thing that Dr. Whitaker talked about. Because we understood that we were in a war, and I want to emphasize that to you. We are in a war. We left New York and went to North Carolina, and really it's on her again, we decided that we were not going to go in debt because the new form of slavery was economic slavery. Well, we got some land, we're very fortunate, and we built our own house. We built a log house. It took us 16 months. We worked night and day every day for the 16 months. And she was out there with a chainsaw in the cold and the rain, and we worked and we built the house so we would not have to give white people any money. I taught on the college level for a number of years at a so-called black college, and I'm down against black colleges. I'm going to tell you straight up, because some of the madness that's going on in these schools. But what I want to say is that there are 2 things going on the planet now. One is that when white people came to us and said, we're going to free you, we're going to emancipate you from the plantation, what they did was extended the boundaries of the plantation and made it an international plantation. Made us think that we were free. In addition to that, they made every white person on earth a plantation master or owner. So there are 2 things in operation. We are in an international prison. It's not just in America, but everywhere we go, our people are dying. So the things that are in operation on this planet is that white people want to kill us. I want you to understand that. They want to kill you. And it has nothing to do with what kind of degree you have, what kind of car you have, what kind of title you have, what fraternity you belong to, what religion you belong to. They want to kill you because that is part of their plan. There are any number of reasons why they want to do that. I'm not going to waste my time trying to figure out why they want to kill us. But I know that's what they want to do. And they want to do it in many different ways. Psychological, economic, cultural, spiritual, social, and biological, chemical, electromagnetic. They want to kill you. But they also want to make money in the process of your death. Now, I saw a brother when I was coming in, he was smoking a cigarette. So now he's going to kill himself, but they're going to make money off of his death process. The other thing is that they want us to, if they don't kill us, like they tried to kill the brother by beating him up in New Orleans, if they don't kill us that way, or shooting like they killed the brother in Cincinnati, or like they killed Malice Green in Detroit, or like they killed Greenwich up in Pittsburgh, if they don't come out right and kill us straight, they want to get us to kill ourselves.
All right. That was our Baba Kamal Cambone telling us to raw isovital before they brother Elijah. Y'all must have thought we started at 9 o'clock. Everybody came in after 9 o'clock. Anyway, and I just wanted to play that because I just wanted us to understand the reality that the reason we're having these problems aren't organic or intrinsic to black people, is because we are under assault. And the most interesting thing about what he said is that they expanded the plantation. Well, the reality of the situation is the people in charge not only have expanded the plantation, but they've expanded the goal of genocide globally. That's why I forgot who showed it, but that's why Korea has a birth rate of 0.6. They're below replacement level. Suddenly, China's below replacement level. Japan's below replacement level. Europe's below replacement level. So the herd is being culled as we speak. The population is going down for various people as we speak. There's only one group of people on Earth. That's the African continent that's going up. Black people in America, our birth rate is going down. We don't even know it. It's not sustainable. Once you have to break up the family, it's almost impossible to sustain your population because of all the social ills that occur from the breakup of the family. So generally speaking, your death rate goes up, and the size of your families decreases, compacts. Right? And then it affects who is allowed to reproduce, which again causes more destabilization of the family, because the women tend to choose dysfunctional males to reproduce more than functional males, because many times functional males spend more time trying to get functional, so they like, I don't have time for that. And the sister says, here in Jamrock, the birth rate's gone down. Right? See? So we're watching we tend to think of it from our perspective, but we're watching a global phenomenon take place in slow motion, and no one is even realizing what's going on, because we aren't comparing notes and saying, okay, this is happening here, this is happening here, this is happening here, this is happening here. How in the world can all of this be happening at the same time everywhere? Who has the power to engineer such an event? Because let's be realistic, Europeans would not be interested in decreasing their own population. Right? So who's behind the veil? Now we know, and you ain't got to say it, but we know, right? Take the banner off real quick. You can see this last one. Like I said, more Black Love events where healing discussions can take place is essential. Some discussions need to be had in person. I may have said that before, but I'm reiterating it again. Before they straight Black Pride to Brother Dessalines, long time no see. Back, Brother Dessalines. Oh man, yeah, we need to talk. Not now, but yeah, I definitely need to hit you up. I'll say it now. I'll just put it in your ear now. You can let me know if it's possible. I would definitely like to do a SBL Talk live discussion in your city. In the summer. So hit me up on Instagram. Let me know if that's something you'd be interested in. Like I would probably need some help filming it, but I would like to film an event there, SBL Talk live. So, and y'all, you know what? Let's have that discussion, man. Y'all let me know. Now we got more people in here. Is that something that y'all want, the audience, you all, is that something y'all would be interested in seeing and or participating in, depending on where you are? 2, do y'all think that that's something that people would want to see? Like, would it help expand the SBL brand? Y'all let me know in the chat. And I'm going past where I'm supposed to be going. Pick it, wait, guys. All right, here's some closing thoughts. When we look, okay, just miss. That's not typed correctly at all. I was typing fast. I ain't gonna lie. Anyway, when we look at the current condition of Black love and relationships, we must remember one thing: we are being warred upon by enemies who want us removed from the planet. Right? Baba Cambone just say that? Exactly. All analysis that omits this simple but ugly truth is rendered useless in the current time period. Before we can realistically make the changes necessary for our survival, we must accept that reality. Our enemies, and misspelled enemies, understand that every Black child born to a loving mother and loving father has the potential to be the Black Messiah that sparks the revolution in the Black world. Their solution to this potential problem is simply to stop us from producing those children in a healthy, loving environment. It's a reality situation. You come from a loving family, it increases the chances that you will, if you come, let me correct myself. If you grow up in a loving Black family, it increases the potential of you to fall in love with Black people enough to the point that you could be the sparks the change. You see what I'm saying? Now, again, because we got the COINTELPRO papers, what was the objective of COINTELPRO? To prevent the rise of the Black Messiah. So, we know that at least the last 60 years, the United States government has had a belief in a Black Messiah and a plan and program to stop that from taking place. Now, we know that other people since then have taken over the government. What makes us think that they didn't look at that and say, you know what, you got a point. Let's continue that program. And not only let's continue it here, let's implement that around the world to stop the rise of the Black Messiah. Because let's be completely honest, stopping the rise of the Black Messiah here, and then someone pops up and unifies all of Africa and makes it a superpower, it is a much worse problem for our enemies than us producing. I mean, because think about the people that we produce. We produce Malcolm X, our sister Raw Ita Vital. They produce Marcus Garvey. We produce Huey P. Newton. We produce what's our brother in Chicago? 21-year-old brother that they took out, Fred Hampton. Like, we've produced people ad nauseum, warrior scholars. We produced Dr. Cotton. We produced John Henry Clark. Right? for decades, for centuries, every generation, another one pops up, another one. You know that's what they say. Here come another one. They're doing everything they can, and another one comes up. And each one we produce is shaped and perfect for the time in which they come in, which makes them more of a threat. Huey P. Newton was perfect for the time that he came in. He literally took the baton from Malcolm's hand after his death and said, let's implement this part of his program. We will defend our communities from police brutality. A shotgun and a law. Right? Marcus Garvey looked around and said, where's the black man's, where's his army? Where's his navy? Okay, I'll just build it myself. Who thinks like that? Some sister like Ida B. Wells looks around and sees the lynching stuff, and she's like, they're not lynching these people because they won't bother nobody. They lynching because they're jealous because they got businesses. I'm gonna put it out here so everybody knows. Fannie Lou Hamer handing out guns in the South while they trying to teach people to read so they can vote, that they out in the bush somewhere. Right? And I can go on and on. And our brother Crow said, Brother Jimmy, right? I don't want to, But Jenny's work speaks for itself. So our enemies understand, like, okay, we got to make as many dysfunctional people as possible, because if they start producing functional people, it's a problem. You think they not looking at Ibrahim Traore and like, oh man, where's this guy? You know what I'm saying? I'm sure they were looking somewhere else and never saw it coming. But now they're trying to figure out what they're gonna do. But then that's the thing. It's not just him. You got to deal with Goita and Brother Shiani. Those brothers have flipped the script. The center of the revolution is now on the continent. And it's giving life to other people on the continent who will see it and are like, oh, this is what real leadership looks like? We can have our own factories. We can have solar power. We can work on nuclear power. We can have tanks. We can have clean water. We can build infrastructure. Man, who knew? Right? And people know, like, we want some of that leadership. Real black man leadership. A man who, because he loves his people, is so beloved that people literally go around wiping the dust off of the posters that they have up of him. Right? So, man, I had another clip, but I think I'm just gonna I'm gonna table that. Say that one for another program. Anyway, I think I'm done. The rules of the show: always be respectful to each other. Never use derogatory language towards black people. Women are not B's and H's. Such language is prohibited. Once it's a mistake, twice is banishment. Black people are not N-words. We don't use the word. And you can speak with passion, but be respectful. Speak truth and understanding. Speak truth and avoid Zionist stereotypes. Quickly, I forgot about this. I had a sister reach out to me and show me some of her information. She's into, from my understanding, polyamory. So not just polygamy, but heterosexual polyamory is how it was expressed to me. Y'all let me know. Is that someone that y'all would like to see as a guest? Now, they probably wouldn't be the only person. That probably would be her and her husband, and maybe some other people. But y'all let me know. I just right now I'm just in the stage of checking out this stuff, trying to see what they're about. I haven't made a decision yet, but it's something I was looking into. So y'all let me know whether y'all think that's something worth broaching or just like, nah, I'm good. And also, here is this is the there's the link for those that want to speak. Brother, you got rid of if you got something real quick, let me know. Wait a minute, hold up. You cut off the what's name last time. You ended the stream last time. So you know how to get out without ending the stream, let me know. If any sisters got anything to say, I'll be looking for sisters to comment. Y'all just be low-key dissing me out here. Y'all ain't got nothing to say. And then not one, but sometimes 2, 3 of y'all will call me after the show and be like, yeah, when you was talking about, I'm like, wait, why you ain't say that when the show was on? You know, I ain't gonna name no name, but all of y'all not in here. So nah, nobody tonight. You said you got your hands full. All right, cool. All right. Anybody else? If not, then we can close out. I'm gonna try to come back on tomorrow night because I'm gonna try to do 2 more shows this weekend because I'm trying to, you know, give the sister her money's worth that paid for the month. But yeah, I just wanted to come on and remind us, man, that we're under attack, we're under assault, and that these things aren't organic, and problems that we have with each other have been engineered, and we have to be willing to give grace to each other. Now, am I saying that if a brother just cooning and he's out here running around with a bunch of non-black women and saying all types of derogatory stuff to black women that we should forgive him? Nah, actually nah, because that's racial treason. So we're not forgiving him. Not for what? Hey, what can he? If he's not bringing some intel about some secret meeting that his girl was at that can help us survive, unless he's doing that, yeah, nah, we ain't got nothing to say to that dude at all. What? If you, first of all, you already over there, but then you gonna come back. This would kill me. These dudes go over there. Okay, you over there, stay over there. But then they come back and saying all types of derogatory stuff about black women and this and that, man. Go ahead with that. I ain't gonna lie, sometimes I miss the days before the internet when you had to say that stuff in person and face the consequences. I'm not gonna lie, in my time, there's a lot of dudes that be flapping their gums on here and saying a lot of stuff on the internet, that would be getting stomped out. Just for plain and simple. Now I say getting Timberland up. Cause it just ain't, it's a different vibe. And I'm not advocating violence or words in response to words. I'm just saying it was a different environment, and you couldn't just go around just saying all types of wild derogatory stuff about black women like hood dudes off the block who, I mean, they may have said something, but you coming and saying something like that's totally out of pocket. Yeah, that wasn't the road to long life and good health. I'm just being completely honest. Things have changed. I've seen dudes get, anyway. Gotta remember statute of limitations on stuff before I talk about stuff. But before we go, again, this SBL Talk. I'm your host, DC Radical 1. Follow me on my other social media. Follow me on Instagram at DC.radical1, on Twitter at DC_radical_ONE, on OTW2 at DC Radical 1. And you can, if you feel so inclined, and I would greatly appreciate it, you can donate via Cashapp, $ DC Radical 1, and the email is at DC.radical_1 at protonmail.com. And again, let me say this before I close out. All of the channel members, if you have not received any, you've been a channel member all this year, so 3 months. You haven't received any videos from me as far as any lectures, shoot me an email and I will send you the 2019 Dr. Collins lecture or the 2022 Francis Cress Wilson lecture. So all the members who have not received it. And let me say this real quick. I found a copy of the 2022 or maybe 2021 Dr. Chancellor Williams lecture. So that's the only copy of my Africa versus Everybody lecture that I have. And I found that quite by accident. So it's going to take me a while to edit that. But hopefully by next month, that'll be available as well. And also, I do have, for those who, because a couple of y'all in the the top membership tier, $25 tier, I do have I got a couple of things from Brother Gene that no one's seen before. So the people in $25 tier, that's available to you all. And those are you all who've sent like major donations. If y'all want that, you know who you are. That's available to you all too. So with that, brothers and sisters, I thank you all for listening. Don't forget to like, share, and subscribe. If you came in late, go back and rewatch for me, please. I greatly appreciate it. With that, I say BB for ODA and straight black pride.
Thank you for watching this video. Don't forget to like, share, and subscribe. Also follow us on our other social media platforms. On Instagram, we're at DC.radical1. On Twitter, we're at DC_radical_ONE. And the Cash App is $ DC Radical 1. Again, thank you for subscribing. A BB for ODA and straight black pride.